as you put together your presentation, keep in mind that you never want to place your Q&A as your final moment. You may be wondering, well, where else would it go? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about why you don't want to place your Q&A at the end. Here you have designed this incredible experience for your audience. You've put together an amazing meeting, an amazing keynote, an amazing presentation. And then you turn it over into the hands of the audience and you say, well, let's take some questions. And one of three things will happen on a Q&A, and none of them is good. The first thing that will happen is there will be not enough questions. And then you feel a little bit awkward because you look out to the audience and you say, anyone have any questions? And you're panicking inside as you look around. No one has any connection to your content, or they're too afraid to speak up. And so you have this sense of dullness out in the audience. So you conclude, great, well, excellent, thanks so much for coming. And that's the end of your event. The second thing that might happen is there will be too many questions. And then you have a feeling of dissatisfaction and frustration in the audience. So you have to ask people to meet you out in the hallway afterwards. Great, well, we didn't have a chance to answer everyone's questions, so if you want to meet me out in the hall, I'll be out there for a few minutes. And that's not a great ending. Or the third thing that will happen, and this is by far the worst, is that someone will stand up and they will ask a question, but it's really not a question. They either want to prove a point or put you in an awkward position or pontificate. And then you've left the final moment of your great experience to someone else. So what do? You take the Q&A and you make it the penultimate moment. Penultimate being a fancy word for just before the end. It's the second to last moment. So you have your Q&A, and no matter how it goes, whether there are no questions, too many questions, or someone who stands up to make a point, you then wrap up and you say, great, well, I'd like to finish with, and that with could be an image, a great quote, a beautiful story, a funny video. It can be anything that is within the realm of what you would hope that final moment to be in terms of the experience you want your audience to have. So if you want that final experience to be them laughing, or them feeling charged to take action, inspired, or maybe they're thinking deeply and moved. Whatever that is, you design the ending. You're in control. You craft it so that you're not leaving it out into the hands of someone in the audience or some audience who may or may not want to ask questions. You're leaving it to the control of your vision. So keep that in mind. Q&A goes in the penultimate spot.